This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and it's Friday, February the 26th, and it's the last day of the week, and my gosh, where did this week go? But we still have four great guests for you tonight. In fact, my first guest who will be joining me in a few moments is James Goy Jr., and we're going to be talking about, are you ready for this, X-Zone Nation? How to attract money using mind power. That's coming up very shortly. And as you know, this is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern. The show is then repeated in its entirety from 2 a.m. until 6 a.m. on the Talkstar Radio Network and the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our growing family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Australia, Asia, Africa, and Europe. My toll-free number is 1-800-610-7035. My email is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. James Goy Jr. is a speaker, mind power coach, and the author of How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. His book presents timeless metaphysical secrets in plain language, so readers can learn how to attract all the money they want by properly directing the awesome force of their own minds. Since 1978, James has read hundreds of books in an effort to understand the laws of life. He has spent decades pondering principles, testing techniques, and observing results. He has lectured on mind power, metaphysics, and spirituality. James lives what he teaches, and he loves to share what he knows. He publishes a free monthly Mind, Power, and Money e-zine, and his website is www.jamesgoyjr.com. That's JamesGoyJr.net. And James Goy Jr., welcome to the X-Zone. Nice talking to you.
Thank you, Rob. Nice to talk to you, too.
Tell me, why did you want to write a book about mind, power, money connection?
The reason I chose this subject, because I always wanted to, write a book during my many years of studying metaphysics and mind, power, and spirituality. But many, decades ago, of course, I used to teach and lecture on metaphysics and mind power. And a lot of people that would come to my lectures had been involved in these types of studies for years. But what I kept finding was the area they kept falling down on, or that so many people universally seemed to have a problem with, was in their finances. In other words, they would have great relationships or a great job and, different aspects of their lives that they simply loved and had created consciously using mind power, attraction, manifestation techniques. But the money was always something that they universally, I would find people were having problems with. So eventually, for my first book, I did decide to concentrate and focus on the money mind power connection so that I could try to clear this up and help people who are having this specific problem. That is, they understand the law of attraction or how to manifest things in their lives, but they, for some reason, for various reasons, have not been able to do it yet with their financial life.
How often do you find this out when you're talking to people that, they seem to have no problem, like you said, manifesting simple things, but when it comes to money, it's a big challenge. Is this a common experience that you're finding?
It's very common, and sometimes it's surprising because, the person in the lecture might be wearing a $1,000 suit or whatever, And they may look a lot more prosperous than other people in the group, or people would think of them as prosperous, have a Mercedes out in the parking lot or whatever. But, a lot of their illusion is sometimes funded by debt, and it's all relative, Some people are struggling. They have millions of dollars in the bank. They're still struggling financially. They're not where they want to be, and they're having a time of it, rearranging and arranging their finances and their debt and everything else to try to remain prosperous. So
James,
it's really a universal problem.
All right, James, you and I have to take a commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. James Goy Jr. is our special guest. He's the author of How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. His website is www.jamesgoyjr.net. That's JamesGoyJR.net. James and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at www.drgibbswilliams.com.
Shamanism is recognized as a method to access the quantum level. Mastery of shamanic skills puts spiritual information and healing power into your hands. Path Home Shamanic Art School, a bonded Colorado certified occupational school, has met rigorous state standards, ensuring its director and instructors have the qualifications to teach the shamanic arts. Path Home offers its certification program in blocks of study. Block 1, a 5-day intensive, will be held in the beautiful mountain town of Coaldale, Colorado, October 13th through 18th. Registration deadline is September 12th. Experience journey trance, power animals, helping spirits, sacred space, and life purpose. Come discover your power. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, in the magical world of shamanism. Call 303-775-3431 or visit findyourpathhome.com.
With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com. James Goy Jr. is my special guest, and we're talking about his new book that is out called How to Attract Money Using Mind Power, and you can find out more about James and how to get his book at www.jamesgoyjr.net. That's JamesGoyJR.net. Now, we were talking before the commercial break how some people have no problems manifesting the simpler things in life, but when it comes to money, they have a hard time. Now, if they can manifest one thing, shouldn't they be able to manifest money as well?
They should be able to, and they, in fact, can. But there's certain, it's mostly a mental block that people need to get past. Now, I believe in focusing on and moving towards what you want to attain, as opposed to focusing on what you're trying to get away from or keep from happening. So I don't, do a lot of figuring out why people, because a lot of this goes back to their childhoods. There was financial problems in the home or just negative connotations that people have given money, whether in their religious beliefs or whatever. The point is, once they realize that this is the same exact system, the same exact methods they've been using for other things. And by the way, even if people are not familiar with metaphysics and mind power, I break the subject down to such a simple, ABC kind of format that anybody can do this. But certainly even people who have had the problem before. So mind power works, the law of attraction works, and once you learn to apply it specifically to money, desire that money, become specific about what you want and know that it's okay for you to have it. There's just a few little steps to get through there. Then you can freely apply these time-tested, time-honored metaphysical techniques to attract money to yourself.
Now, you said that it's all right to have money, that you can have the money. Do people really subconsciously feel that they may not deserve to have money?
Yes, a lot of people feel that, in my observation, and even myself starting out, for whatever reason, we have self-images which are not conducive to or congruent with being able to attract and hold a lot of money. As a matter of fact, one chapter in my book is on the self-image, because in order to be able to consistently attract and maintain substantial financial resources, a person needs to have the self-image of a person who is not only capable of, but deserving of those, capable of attracting and deserving of having those finances.
Now, your book was published before the current economic problems we're experiencing, James. Does this method for attracting money work as well in a bad economy like ours is right now?
It does. Exactly the same, really. I tell people that though the economy may change, mind power principles do not change. Principles of the law of attraction or manifestation do not change. It's a bit more challenging. People need to make a few distinctions and and understand the reality of this present economic situation. But the techniques themselves are exactly the same for money or other things, or in good times or in bad times, having to do with attracting money.
Now, the understanding of the subconscious mind is obviously central to your teachings. Can we take a few minutes and have you talk about what that is?
This is really the crux of the whole issue. When you're talking about, the secret, the law of attraction, the power to manifest, mind power, what it really all comes down to is the understanding of and then proper governing of the subconscious mind. Think of it this way. Your subconscious mind is below your conscious awareness, thus the prefix of sub. And your subconscious mind is basically a computer. It's basically a machine. Your subconscious mind has no concept of time because it thinks everything that it knows is present. It has no concept of right or wrong, wanted or unwanted, good or bad, desirable or undesirable. And it also has no concept of, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And another very important distinction is it does not understand negative terms, such as non, or not, or no. Because the subconscious mind deals in images. That's its language. And so if I say, I don't want a pink elephant, then my subconscious mind receives an image of a pink elephant, or a car, or I don't want to lose money on that deal, or I don't want to be sick next weekend when I have my vacation. The subconscious mind hears sick next weekend when I have my vacation. That's the image that's created. That's what it tries to create. So once a person understands the mechanism of the subconscious mind, it is a function, it's a mechanism, which is, by the way, connected to the universal subconscious mind and all other human subconscious minds. Once one understands how it works and learns some very simple techniques to work with it, then the subconscious mind really does much of the work of attracting the money and making the situations and the people come into play that have to happen for you to see your visions realized.
It sounds like that old saying, if you confess it, you will possess it.
Exactly. And also there's another old saying I like, what you resist persists. So if you take those two sayings together, you can see that you always want to be focusing on and moving towards what you want and not giving any attention to what you don't want, or certainly very little attention to the things you're trying to avoid.
Now, James, although you teach a comprehensive method for attracting money, and most people want more money, is this method exclusive to attracting money, or can it be used in other areas of life as well?
This method can be used in all areas of life, whether business, personal, athletic, any area of human endeavor that you can think of where there is a decision made to attain a certain goal, then and it's possible to attain that goal. In other words, moving the moon is not attainable. Therefore, these principles would not work. But for anything that a sane person can rationally believe they can have, the system is basically the same. But I've tailored it in my book all specifically to attracting money because that's what people universally have the most problem with.
How has this technique that you're teaching changed your life?
Over the years, I have had my ups and my downs. I have had six-figure windfalls. I have been literally on food stamps and welfare and everything in between. Nearly homeless, sleeping in my car, becoming an apartment manager one day before I would have been homeless, things working out for me. So it has really transformed my life, but I was deeply in debt, again, even after working on this book for quite some time. And I actually quit my job, which I couldn't afford to do because I was living on my credit cards already, to focus on finishing the book and to focus on using the principles, really become focused. And I really did it. I did some fasting. I went into silence for 10 days. I stopped shaving. I totally became like a mind power, freak because my circumstances were so dire. Within a 2.5 month period, I had 2 six-figure windfalls come in. My life has never gone back to what it is. In other words, before I quit my job that I couldn't afford to lose, that was more than 3 years ago, and I'm in a position now where I haven't worked since, and I won't need to work. I can live my dream and my passion, which is writing, the various writings I do, my newsletter, which I publish each month, and promoting my book. So It's totally transformed my life. When a person realizes that they can plan, they can sit at their desk and plan their life and the way they want it to be, and then use mind power and some follow-up, physical work, whether it's writing letters, making phone calls, whatever you have to do, and have the life they want. That kind of power and knowledge totally transforms your life. It's like night and day.
What's the biggest hurdle or the most common hurdle that you see with the people that you talk to and that you tell about your technique?
One hurdle we've discussed is the self-image, that they can deserve the money and actually be powerful enough within themselves to attract it. And also, especially in public lectures and with, like I'm on MySpace and Twitter and Facebook and all this. And so some people are becoming aware of these principles really for the first time through my book. Until they read the book, one hurdle is that people simply have a problem accepting and believing when they're really not familiar with this, that this works. That through certain metaphysical mind power techniques, affirmation, visualization, speaking as if, acting as if, thinking and feeling as if, goal setting for money, that by doing these things, which really on the surface when you explain them and lay out the process, it sounds so, like a monkey could do it, so easy that a child could do it, and they have a hard time believing that it would actually work. I haven't had anyone tell me they still don't. Well, I have had one person in the 3 years or whatever, tell me even after they read the book, they never believed in mind power before, they don't believe it now. Everyone else after reading the book actually believes it. Not only do they understand it, but they believe it. And one reason for that is, I think, because my book is so well researched. I quote 160 other authors in this book. It's a very serious work on this subject, but it's very concise. It's about 100 pages, and that includes a bibliography of 13, 14 pages. So that hurdle can easily be overcome, but that's a big one too for a lot of people hearing this for the first time. Perhaps some of your listeners, that it sounds too good to be true to them initially.
James, stand by. We've got to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. James Goy Jr. is our special guest. He's the author of How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. His website, www.jamesgoyjr.net. That's JamesGoijr.net. James and I will be back on the other side of the news as we continue here on the Talkstar Radio Network and X-Zone Broadcast.
It was a terrifying experience.
I thought we was going to go to jail for murder.
That day, we were a little behind, so we worked until it was starting to get dark.
We loaded up the equipment and hadn't driven very far when we caught glimmers of this glow coming through the trees. I urged Mike to hurry up and get up there.
Travis had the door open before we even stopped. As he got closer, I heard the sound.
One of the guys said, "You feel that?"
I really panicked then.
I told him, "Get the hell out of here."
It didn't come directly to me, it came to a deputy sheriff.
Three of us volunteered right away to tell him what had happened.
Sheriff Gillespie definitely didn't believe it.
He says that we better be certain because we get in a lot of trouble.
When we went to search the next day, they split us up, and the whole time the deputies asked me, if you just tell us where the body is, we can all go home and get this over with.
We're talking about 100 people combing through the wooded area. Nothing turns up.
All week long, I've been hearing they're going to set it up to make you guys look guilty.
We're a rough-looking bunch then. Some of us have been in trouble with the law before.
And y'all ain't never going to come out of that jailhouse.
We couldn't get out.
I tried to sneak out the back door the day of the polygraph test. I was scared to death.
On top of that, you have media.
I literally would be on 2 telephones at the same time.
We've even got some coops in here now that's coming in and out to see the freak show, as they call it.
Everyone descends.
I just wasn't going to stand there and listen to it anymore.
Granny says, "This is Travis. I'm back. I need help." When I did hear that he had been returned, it was almost as unbelievable as the original thing.
I just looked at my mom and says, "I told you we didn't kill him."
Travis Walton reappeared after several days with a bizarre story about a ride in an unidentified flying object.
People were desperate to explain it away.
Why are you sticking up with Travis for all this time? You know this really didn't happen.
What happened to Travis after we took off in that truck, I can't tell you.
I hated Travis for a long time after this. My whole world just tore up.
But I believe every word Travis said about it. He's never lied to me about nothing.
It's a net negative. We lost our jobs in the immediate aftermath.
And now you're not able to talk about it with anyone because you know that they're going to laugh at you, they're going to look at you like you're crazy.
But if you don't come out and tell your story, somebody else is going to tell it for you.
There's a degree of responsibility. Certainly I have to accept the bad. If I can direct what's happened in a way that I can make something good happen in the world, I'm looking for it.
Order your copy of Travis, The True Story of Travis Walton, today at www.traviswaltonthemovie.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
While science pursues fact, magic accesses the quantum level, bridging random facts to form truth. As long as science and magic remain separate and polarized, the truth cannot be known. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka. Join me on the Science of Magic radio program, dedicated to unification and evolution of consciousness. During each episode, I'll be speaking with experienced and respected scientists and mystics. From astrologers to astronomers, from medical doctors to shaman, the scientific method to dowsing and intuition, we'll weave together information from seemingly divergent practices to promote unity and enlightenment. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic right here on the Mutual Broadcast Network. For more information, visit www.thescienceofmagic.net.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network and the X Zone Broadcast Network. My name is Rob McConnell. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is James Goy Jr. He is the author of How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. His website is www.jamesgoyjr.net. You write of the act of giving as an important part of the attraction process. Now, and this is a quote, if I understand right, that are you really saying that if you give money, you end up with more money than you actually gave?
Yes, that's what I mean by that. And, of course, I see people's faces tighten up when I'm speaking of this in public because, again, a hard concept for some people to understand because they're so used to linear thinking. They're so used to, pen and paper with the calculator, and if you have $10 and you give one away, now you only have 9.
Right.
But what they don't understand, we've all heard the phrase, biblical phrase, as ye give, so shall it be given unto you, things of this nature, is that there is a mechanism in the universe. It's been recognized by deep thinkers, by spiritual and metaphysical thinkers throughout human history, that apparently rewards giving by bringing like things back to the giver. And not just what they gave, but much more than they gave. For instance, tenfold is a figure that people seem to kind of resonate with. And so now that's one reason. And I wouldn't want to try to, explain the mechanism. I mean, the universe is the universe. We try to learn in Mind Power how it works and then work with it in harmony with how we already recognize it works. We don't necessarily try to explain all of the mechanics of it because it's beyond our conscious minds. But also, there's other reasons that I've identified. There are certain other aspects of mind power, for instance, belief. When we believe things, we tend to attract them. When we expect things, we tend to attract them. When we really believe and expect, we tend to act as if those things will be true, and that's another step in my book I've identified as acting as if. Well, all of these things are put into force even without thought when we give. Because when we feel like we have enough to give, we believe and feel like we have enough to give, and that there'll always be enough and that more is coming to us, that is part of the process of creating it coming to us. Because we're creating the belief, we are creating and demonstrating the expectancy. We naturally will act as if we believe that because obviously we do. Because we feel free enough to give. People who do not feel free enough to give to others, whether it's religious organizations, spiritual, needy people, they feel like they might not have enough later, like they don't have enough to give, and they don't feel like more is going to come in to be able to allow them to do that. And so anyone who understands mind power can clearly see that that is what they are creating. So those are two reasons. One is what's going on in your own mind when you either give or withhold giving, and the other is the mechanism within the universe itself that rewards giving.
What is the as-if technique?
Okay, as if, I've broken it down in the book into basically 3 main chapters. One being speak as if, one being act as if, and the other being think and feel as if. And this is a technique which has been recognized and talked about by metaphysical teachers, again, throughout human history. And that is that if you are trying to create something to happen within your life, you should, and they usually, often don't break it down into the speaking and the thinking and feeling like I do. They talk about acting as if. So I'll talk about that for the moment. You would act as if. In other words, let's say you won the lotto, for instance, and you had the ticket and you double-checked your numbers and it's been authenticated by the lottery office or whichever game you've won. you would really believe and know that that money's coming to you. You know, X amount of money for the next 20 years or a lump sum of such and such on this date. You would naturally act as if that's true because you know it to be true. So you would maybe open a money market account to deposit your initial money into. You'd start looking into investments. You'd start pricing cars. You maybe will start looking at homes. Whatever, you'd start spending the money you have more freely. You'll buy that coat or that purse that you've been putting off because you know, hey, on December 28th, I'm getting this check. That's the kind of action that acting as if speaks to. In other words, you want to act as if the things that you are trying to create are now or will be reality. And again, you cannot fool or trick your subconscious mind. You either really believe or you don't. So by acting as if, not only are you demonstrating your belief in expectancy, but you are to a very large degree making it stronger and empowering it more so. And I break it down in the book and teach you how to speak as if, for instance. You don't say, well, I never have enough, or if I have enough money to do that, take that vacation. You don't speak like that. You speak as if, and also think and feel as if the things you are trying to create are now or will be reality. It all comes under the act as if umbrella, which has been known and taught about for so long now.
But what happens, James, if somebody acts as if and it doesn't manifest? What does this do to their self-belief?
Well, here's the thing. Things do not always happen on our time schedule. But they always happen if we don't give up. So if someone's trying to manifest $10,000, that's a lot of money to them, and they go and they put a down payment on a new car, and they don't see this money coming around quickly enough, they can certainly conclude that it didn't work, and that's where they stop the process right there, because now it won't work. But these principles and these techniques do take time, obviously, and normally, but not always. The bigger the item, the more money, the longer it would take. In other words, I could say, well, I want to just create a quarter right now. I could probably go for a walk for an hour. If I used mind power, I would be guided to where somebody has dropped a quarter, conceivably. $1 million, no, there's probably not a bag within walking distance of $1 million laying on the ground somewhere. But I can certainly win a lottery tomorrow. So, the big numbers can come in quickly also.
I'm having a bit of a problem here, because if you're telling people to believe, act as if, in one hand, and on the other hand, you're saying, well, it may take some time. So how long does this person have to put on airs that they believe or that they are acting as if? And what happens to their realm of reality during the time that it takes for this so-called manifestation to happen?
Well, here's the thing. Mind power, and especially the way I teach it for attracting money, is an art as much as it is a science. So someone starting out in this would not try to say, okay, I want $10 million, within 3 months, and I'm going to start acting as if, going into debt and all of this. Because that does not make sense. It's not frugal. They are going beyond their ability to even conceive and believe that they could have that much money in that short a time, especially when they've never had, say, more than $10,000 in the bank in their whole lives. But they can certainly increase their income levels or have. I just had someone tell me 2 or 3 weeks ago from someone over in Wales that they read the book and they had the equivalent of $1,600 come in within 2 weeks.
But all right, could that just be synchronicity, coincidence?
It is synchronicity, but it's not coincidence. And it was several different sources that brought the money. I've had people tell me that the book didn't even get there yet, and they had some kind of a windfall or one or more exciting, financial things because they opened up their mind. They asked me, how did that happen? I didn't even read the book yet. Was that coincidence? No. You became aware, or, reminded that this is possible, that you create with your mind. You stoked up your desire, you believe in it, you ordered the book, and so the money can even start coming to you. And that's why I said earlier, you asked me, is it different, does it work differently or work as well in hard economic times? In hard economic times, obviously, we would act as if with more care. That's all. Like I say, it's as much a science as it is an art. It's like any other thing. If you are not careful, then you do not get the best results.
But how can
if you're
But how can you say it's a science if you don't know how it works?
Well, I do understand how it works, and when people read the book and study these other, for instance, these other 160 authors that I recommend, they will understand exactly how the process works. In other words, what they can do to put this process into effect.
Right, but,
we know
but
that
earlier,
when
but earlier you said that it was part of the universal mechanism, but nobody knows how that mechanism works. So how can you call it a science if you don't know how the main functioning part of this entire theorem works?
We do know how it works.
How does it work then?
Okay.
How does it work?
It depends on what you're talking about. In other words, one metaphysical principle is that we attract what we think about. What we think about, we bring about. Anybody can demonstrate this in their own lives. They can put their mind on more positive things, which will naturally make them start to move in that direction. They will see not only their own actions bringing to them the result, but other people will start to come into the picture, or events will start to transpire that will bring this. So in other words, I'm telling you that we can see exactly how it functions, but we can't say like it's angels or it's God doing it or whatever. We know how it works, but we can't explain, the burning question of exactly who's doing this. Or why, or any of that. But none of that is necessary to know.
I certainly hope you're not trying to tell me that your book is a surefire way of turning your life around and a quick fix to the devastating life a person may be living.
It certainly is not a quick fix. That's true. It is basically a lifestyle change. Just like you would change the way you eat as opposed to going on a 2-month diet, you will change the way you think and feel and act. And you will see small results right away and sometimes larger results. But you will see, no one will wholeheartedly and, with gusto and belief use these principles, these many techniques, and not begin to have results. And that will build their belief even more because it does work, which is one reason why the Secret, for instance, has resonated with so many people when Oprah brought it out, because they can demonstrate it for themselves in small ways at first, larger ways as they go along.
Well, if it's such a great system, we're talking about The Secret and Oprah, how come it fizzled out so fast?
Well, I don't know that it has fizzled out. If you look at any of the authors that are, maybe the huge public fanfare, but you have to understand, for something to come to the level of Oprah, that's huge, and that's worldwide. And Oprah's not going to have, although she had The Secret people, for instance, as an example, back two times I saw, maybe more than that.
But Oprah is to a specific audience. Like, she may be worldwide. I'm worldwide, and I've got a specific audience. Oprah has a specific audience. That doesn't mean that people in other audiences buy The Secret. To be honest with you, I don't buy it.
Right, and I can understand that.
Because I've been doing this show now for nearly 20 years, and I have heard so many authors come on with all these different types of books. Other books that have been self-help, self-enriching, self-changing, self-making books that I'm very skeptical.
Mm-hmm. A lot of those books, in the beginning of them, they will have several pages of, reviews or testimonials from people who have applied what they teach. But I will give you this, that throughout human history, and here's something, right now more people know about this type of thing, this metaphysical attraction thing, than ever before in human history. But it always has been a select few who have had and used this knowledge. And like I stated earlier, it is not something that the average person who has never thought about these things takes to upon first hearing it.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our final break for this hour. James Goy Jr. is our guest. He is the author of How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money in abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/X-Zone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, High Tech with Corey Kay, and every minute of the 24/7, 365 programming of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 712-432-9459, courtesy of TalkStream Live. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 712-432-9459 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 712-432-9459 for the best of paranormal, new age, thought-provoking, sci-fi radio programming 24/7, 365.
Coming soon to the X-Zone Broadcast Network is A Different Perspective with me, Kevin Randall, as your host. We'll be taking a close look at what is happening in the world of UFOs today with side trips into the paranormal. Guests will range from those who are household names to those who have a different perspective on a variety of topics. No topic will be taboo, but there will be tough questions asked as we all search for the truth about UFOs, the paranormal, and those things that excite us. Sometimes we'll agree with a guest and sometimes we won't, but we'll try to keep the program topical. For those of you who like to read, be sure to visit www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com and remember to listen to the other fine programs on the X-Zone Broadcast Network at www.xzbn.net. This is Kevin Randall. For nearly 30 years, I have been investigating the case of the Roswell UFO. I have interviewed hundreds of people and stood on the crash site. Now in Roswell in the 21st century, I have reviewed dozens of hours of audio and videotaped interviews, examined hundreds of files that relate to the crash, and have returned to Roswell in an attempt to put all that information into the proper perspective. For the first time in Roswell in the 21st century, I have made a dispassionate reevaluation of all that material and provide a new look at what happened. This is a book that clears away all the clutter that has hidden the truth for so long, strips away the various lies that surround the case, exposes the Air Force attempts at cover-up, and found a core of solid information that tells us all where the case stands today. Roswell in the 21st century will be available in just a few weeks. For more information, please visit my website at www.kevinrandall.blogspot.com.
What Happened in Benghazi is revealed by Nicholas Genix, author of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. He informs the American people that President Obama deceived them by advocating a strong foreign policy prior to the 2012 presidential election, and Hillary Clinton supported this deception. As the title infers, there is a connection between Obama, Islam, and Benghazi. Ample evidence informs Americans that Obama's early indoctrination in the Quran developed an affinity for Islam, why the Quran is the source of discontent in many countries, and why the Obama foreign policy deception led to poor military action and caused the loss of American lives in Benghazi. GeneX provides 36 questions for the Select Committee on Benghazi to validate if Americans are justified to mistrust President Obama and Hillary Clinton. An overview of Obama, Islam, and Benghazi is presented on the website www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Afterlife expert Roberta Grimes was the first one to say that dying can be fun. Now her best-selling book, The Fun of Dying, is available in stores worldwide. So if you wonder whether death ends life, how it feels to die, or what heaven might be like, The Fun of Dying was written for you. And if you have always been afraid of death, or if you worry that your life has no meaning, let The Fun of Dying ease your fears and bring new meaning to your life. Nothing said in The Fun of Dying is based on the teachings of any religion. Instead, Roberta draws on evidence to explain how death happens, how it feels, and what comes next. A lot of the best death-related evidence was produced in the first half of the 20th century. When it is put together with recent discoveries, it tells a consistent and amazing story. Roberta Grimes blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Her wonderful book, The Fun of Dying, is available on Amazon and at stores worldwide.
James Goy Jr.
wherever
is our
books
guest.
are
He's
sold.
the author of How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. His website is www.jamesgoyjr.net. That's JamesGoijr.net. James, what about these people who go to the different casinos, or the people who spend money on lottery tickets because they believe they're going to win, or they believe this machine is going to pay off, or this horse is going to pay off, or this investment is going to pay, and they believe with all their heart and they fall flat on their faces?
I don't think that we could make a strong case for the fact that they really do believe with all their heart. I think it's more people that are gambling and things of this, it's more of an act of desperation. And it's also an act of trying to fill empty places that they feel and things of this nature. So it's not the same as consciously and methodically applying mind power techniques, just to go running off and think, oh, I feel lucky, I'm going to go to the casino today.
But if these people truly do believe and they're resonating their belief, why doesn't the universe help them?
Well, I read this book years ago. It's called The Luck of the Draw. And it was about lottery winners. Mm-hmm. And they were from every, walk of life, every economic and social and, background imaginable. The only thing that the author finally came up with, he said, the only thing I could find that they all had in common was that at some point in the interviewing process, they said something along these lines. I really just always kind of felt that someday I would hit. I just gave a lecture at the San Diego Body, Mind, and Spirit Expo just a few days ago. And I asked, towards the end of the lecture, and I always get the same response, I asked how many people in here believe that they could be multimillionaires within, say 3 days, or say 1 week, or within the next 9 days. I kind of spread it out. How many of you actually believe you could be multimillionaires by then? And invariably, like 5% or less of the people raised their hands, more like 1 or 2%. And then I say, how many people in here buy lottery tickets? And it's 50, 60%. And I tell those people who are buying the lottery tickets but who don't believe that they can be millionaires 2 weeks from now, that they're wasting their money. And I tell the people who do believe they can be millionaires to continue to buy those tickets, and the people who don't believe, to get some belief up. So there is definitely a correlation between.
Jeff, I hate to do this, but we've just James, we've just run out of time for tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Exo Nation, James Goy Jr. has been our guest this hour. I don't know, sounds kind of fishy to me, Exo Nation. Nah, sorry, don't buy it. And I believe in myself. I believe that I make things happen. not buying somebody's book. That's because he believes you're going to buy it, and it's your belief that's going to make him rich. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada on the Talkstar Radio Network and the X Zone